Welcome to our presentation on developing metacognitive strategies, thinking about how you think and how you learn. Now, you may have done some work on this in the past, but if you haven't, it doesn't matter because we will go through the same strategies again and perhaps give you a chance to reflect on how you have been using these strategies. So, why metacognition? Well, there's a lot of research that has been done over the last decade that shows that there is value in investing in understanding metacognition when you're a student, because it helps you to become more confident in the way you approach your learning. So some of the benefits are listed over here, where you have higher or greater academic success. You're developing problem-solving skills because you know how to analyze different situations and also see it from different perspectives. So you're broadening your problem-solving skills. You're developing self-regulated learning. Now, this is an important skill for post-secondary success. Most of our students go to post-secondary, and if you don't have these skills, then you're going to find it difficult to be successful. It develops your cognitive flexibility. It shows where your strengths and weaknesses lie when you're thinking about attempting or solving a problem. It shows what approaches you can take so that you are more likely to be successful. And then it also has long-term impact. So imagine that, if you're studying about metacognition now, and you're at this age, then imagine how strong your academic success would be, and also how you can be a lifelong learner if you have these skills in your adult time. So my suggestion is for you to focus on what I'm going to share with you as a habit that you have to develop, and then the results will fall into place once you have established those good habits. So there are 3 stages of metacognition regulation. So there is a knowledge for metacognition, that you have to have some prior knowledge about what you're doing. But the regulation part is where you are actually engaging in a task or a problem or a question. So the planning part is something which you have to always have. And this is very synonymous to what you have done in LA or a science lab, where you have to plan before you perform a task. So the idea is to make sure that you know something about the topic, and also ensuring that you know what kind of approach you're going to take. A very simple analogy for that is, if let's say your washing machine breaks down, then you need to know what kind of tools you need or who to call if your washing machine breaks down. Right, so it's kind of telling you how to plan certain things, and it's not a skill that is not known to you, because I'm sure you have organized things in your life where you had to plan for that task, right? So you just have to think about learning and academic work that you're doing. Monitoring during the task is the next part, where you have to make sure that if you apply a strategy and if you think about it as to if that strategy is applicable for that task. Because sometimes you might start with something and you realize that, oh, this is not the right thing for me to do in this task, and you may have to change that approach, right? So this is an aspect which helps you to recognize that you're not going down the wrong path, and then you have wasted your time and energy in doing something which produced no results. It's not a bad thing, because you have kind of ruled out one method that you can't use, but if you don't think about it, then you will keep doing that and you'll be wasting more and more time. And this is something which some students find quite common during tests or exams. They run out of time because they often do something and they realize that they have taken too much time without thinking or planning it. Evaluation is the next part. So once you've completed the task, you want to reflect upon what strategies you used, what worked, what didn't work, what can you do differently. Getting some feedback from somebody else would also be useful for you to see whether your approach was the best or the effective way. So we are going to be offering you some resources to help you monitor your metacognitive awareness by giving you a checklist. Now, this checklist is based upon some of the survey questions that you had done last year, and I've kind of narrowed it down to 6 important aspects that most students struggle with. And this checklist is going to be given to you in a laminated form, and then you can use that throughout your high school or whenever you're studying, so that will help you to get comfortable and confident with these topics. So my suggestion is there are two sides to this document. So the first side is in-class learning. So when you're in class, how do you use this checklist? And I encourage you to be more cognizant of this so that you're actually applying some of these strategies and also reflecting upon it. And I'll go through the details of what you can do in a moment. The second side of this checklist is out-of-class learning, because learning doesn't just happen inside of class. There's a lot of things that you learn outside of class as well. And when you're doing any learning outside of class, it's important for you to recognize that you still have to be mindful of what you're doing, how you're doing, and why you're doing it that way. So this checklist here lists some of those strategies. So the way I want or recommend that you should use this is look at those strategies and see which ones you already are comfortable with. Because some of these topics, strategies you're already using, but you might not be aware that you're actually doing it, so you want to be more conscious of that. So I would recommend, based on the experience that I've seen with some students using it and the research, it is recommended that you start with at least 2 goals and think about the goals that you are most likely to work on or you feel that are most useful for you. And you want to focus on these 2 goals for at least 2 to 4 weeks on a regular basis. So keep that checklist handy, and then whenever you're doing an activity in class, doesn't matter what subject it is, you want to reflect upon those goals. And then at the end of those 4 weeks or 2 to 4 weeks, you want to then reflect upon those strategies and see what worked, how it worked, and what benefits you've seen from applying those strategies. Now, if you are successful, that is great. Now, if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't mean that it doesn't work for you forever. It could mean that you haven't applied it in the right place, or it could mean that you haven't applied it the right way. So it'd be useful for you to reflect on those with somebody else who has chosen those strategies and see how they have benefited from that, and that will be key for you. Now, if you use another 2 set of goals for the next duration of 2 to 4 weeks and then continue that cycle, then by the time you finish this year, you would be developing a strong set of skills that will help you to be more successful in the long term. So your goal is to remember that metacognitive skills is something that you build as you go, as you learn. So therefore, the more you practice, the better you're going to be learning in the future. Now, I have some resources here that I will share that you can also refer to that will provide you more information and more guidance on how to use these metacognitive strategies, which you can access, and then you can obviously use it as you feel necessary. So good luck. Have fun with using those metacognitive strategies, and then I'm always open to any feedback and see what successes you have.